Hi everybody, it's Danny here. This video is going to be all about taking these morning glory seeds, germinating them, planting them, and watching as they bloom. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while here in the city. We have a sort of gated in area that's street side, and for the longest time I thought it would be so beautiful just to have some sort of flowering vine crawl around and really take over that space. I had this idea in my head of what it's going to look like, you know, imagining them crawling all over the sort of like iron fence and blooming. I'm here in zone 7, but this is something you could do in most regions because morning glory seeds are very flexible and very resilient. I'm in the city, but my street side is southeast facing, so we get really beautiful morning light into the afternoon. And that's exactly what these want. You want to plant them in a sunny place with well-drained soil. In terms of planting morning glories, what you can expect is that they're annuals. Once they're germinated, they grow pretty fast. They're a fast vining plant. They can grow up to 10 feet tall. Certain varieties can grow even taller. And they create these really beautiful trumpet-like flowers. The most common ones are blue or white, but they also come in colors of pink and red and some of these warmer tones. Why morning glories, you might wonder? Well, for a lot of people, it makes a lot of sense if they have a smaller garden and they need to rely on vertical height. These can grow really tall. Also, the flowers are really loved by a lot of people. They're paper thin and they're delicate, very ephemeral, and that draws a lot of people. For me, I actually have a childhood memory. So for me, it's nostalgic. I remember when I was a kid, there was a tree that fell over in a rainstorm. So we had this tree stump, and my father and I sprinkled morning glory seeds around the tree trunk, and the flowers just vined all over this trunk, and it was really beautiful. So for me, there's a little bit of nostalgia there. Morning glories are really interesting, even throughout history. We're seeing ancient civilizations develop sort of lore and legend around them. The Aztecs believed that the flowers represented their god of love and fertility, and they used the flowers a lot in medicinal treatments. The Mayans as well, they believed that the flowers represented the sort of ephemeral, fleeting qualities of life. And both the Aztecs and the Mayans, the priests, would actually use the seeds to create sort of like hallucinogenic states or something like that, where they'll get sort of visited by spirits. So they were very revered in these ancient civilizations. So join me on this gardening adventure. Like I said, we're gonna go from seed to bloom, so follow along. So I have 2 different varieties. The first is this heavenly blue variety. The second is Milky Way. But the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and empty your seed packet into a cup of water and let it sit overnight or for at least 6 hours before you start the next part of the process. And then for this germination process for the morning glory seeds, what you're gonna need are some paper towels, a spritzer, not necessary, but it's nice to have a spritzer, and then some Ziploc baggies. And so taking your paper towel, starting with a fairly damp paper towel, this one I ran under the faucet and wrung excess water out. You're gonna go ahead and take the seeds that have been soaking in the water, scoop some of them out, and then lay them individually on the paper like so. And what you're gonna wanna do is stop about halfway, because what we're going to do is we're gonna take the paper towel and then we're gonna fold it over like this. And then afterwards, we're gonna put that into these Ziploc baggies. Look at that perfect fit. That's pretty nice, right? And then store that in a warm area to germinate. So I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse the rest of this. And then the last thing you might want to do with the spritzer is just go into each baggie and just give it a little extra spritz to keep some of the humidity intact. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is keep them in a dark, warm place for a couple of days, and we'll come back and check on the humidity and to see if any of them have sprouted. All right, so it's been about 3 days now since I put the morning glory seeds in the plastic bags with the moisture and the paper towels, and I put them in a dark drawer in my kitchen. So now's the time to pull them out and have a look. And here they are. A cool thing that you could do just to see how they look is just hold them up to the light. And you can see there's so much sprouting going on. Wow, look at that. These are the blue ones, and then these are the light ones. Yeah, you can totally see they're starting to sprout. That's really cool. Let's have a look at this one now. Whoa, really happening here. All right, so now that they're sprouting, it's time to put them into some soil. With my potted plant, I have a tweezers. You can use a tweezers if the seeds that you've germinated are so small that it's hard to pick them up. So you could like do it very gently. But these are so large that I think I might just use the back of the tweezers just to make like a little hole. A common question that you might come across is the little tail, does that go up or down? Is that the sprout or is that the root? And the answer is the sprouted part goes down, and the leaf will eventually emerge. And actually we have one here that's already emerged where you can see that's like a little baby leaf, right? So the seed sheds off, the root goes down, and the seed goes up. So I might just plop that in right away. Give it a little dirt blanket. The actual seed depth for these is very shallow, so you're not gonna go that deep. I believe it's like less than a centimeter. So since these are already sprouted though, I might go just a little bit deeper. And I'm putting several in one pot, knowing that I'm gonna be thinning it out later, because I don't believe every single seed is gonna survive. Maybe it will, but I'm gonna put anywhere from 5 to 10 in each pot. And then once they start growing and I see ones that are doing really well, I'll thin the pot out afterwards so that the ones that are doing well have an even better chance at surviving and thriving. So now I'm outside. This is where I was talking about earlier in the video, the street side front area where I have these really cool wrought iron fence gates. My goal is to take these pots that I had from last year and put some of these morning glory seeds into these pots with some new fertilizer. This is a really nice soil from one of these gardening centers nearby. Just giving it a top dressing, so sprinkling some of the sort of organic material, massaging it into the top layer. And I have more of my germinated seeds here. So my goal now is, in a similar fashion, this time just using my finger, poking a hole, putting the root side down in the hole, and then going ahead and doing this with as many as I can. It'll be really interesting just to see if the ones that I plant outdoors do better than the ones that I'm gonna be putting in my backyard and the ones that I'm gonna be putting inside. And like I said, this is a side of the house that gets a lot of really nice sunlight, and I just can't wait to see what it's like when these morning glories climb all over this gate. And here I am. It's now late September. It's been a couple of months, and the morning glory vines have had quite some time to grow and crawl all around this wrought iron gate outside of our house. And I'm really happy with how it's filled out. One thing to note is that morning glories like the colder temperatures. It's why they open up in the morning, the cooler weather before the sun comes up and it gets too hot for the delicate flowers. They close up when the sun is out and it gets too warm. And you can see some of the new buds that haven't opened yet. Towards the end of the day, you'll notice that the flowers close up and the closed bud then shrivels and falls off. It's this cycle that's daily, especially in the colder early autumn or late summer months. One thing that was interesting, and I'm not sure if it had to do with germinating the seeds together or planting them together, but the white variety and the blue variety seems like they've maybe cross-pollinated, and what happens is some of the white morning glories have taken on a lighter blue hue. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that happens. I do know that with like tomato plants, when they're planted in close proximity, they can tend to sort of pick up attributes from different plants nearby. So there you have it. This is a lot of information about morning glory seeds and morning glory plant growth. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. And if you like this video, if you were inspired by this video, feel free to give me a subscribe for more videos like this coming on down the line. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.